Okay, I've got 1 hour and Trisha here that's helping me. It has to be to work, leave for work, so I'm going to get an Afghan done, and I'm going to arm knit it, and I'm going to cast on 4 strands of Deborah Norville Serenity Chunky yarn, and so I'm just going to get started here. So what I want to do is remove the labels, and I'm going to find the insides of each skein like this, and I want that outside strand to not get in my way, so it's coming out right here, so I need to pull that and make sure it stays on the outside. And then I'm going to do that with each skein of yarn. I'm throwing my stuff, and that's the outside strand. And okay, so I'm going to find my insides here of 4 skeins of this. So this is a chunky weight yarn, so 4 strands should make a nice thickness for my Afghan. Alright. And if you want, you can take the outside strand of this yarn and connect it to the inside of the next one so that you have a continuous flow. But for right now, I'm just going to get my 4 strands because I'm all excited about getting this started. I'm just like totally into arm knitting. I love it. Okay, so I've got my 4 strands, and I also have a close-up of how to cast on. This is a long tail cast on that it's called, and you need 1 yard for each 3 stitches that you cast on. So I'm going to cast on 27 stitches on my arm, so that means I need 9 yards. And to measure a yard, all you have to do is like go like this and turn your head all the way, and that's about a yard. So I need 9 yards to do my cast on. So that's 2 and 3 and 4. All right, where's the rest of this? So I'm at 4, I gotta remember that. All right. You could get all your strands together and roll it all before you start. That might help, so you don't run into something like this. So that was 4. Now I have 5. I think I have an outside strand. Yes, I do. I have an outside strand causing me trouble here. So just pull it to the outside. So I think I did 5. Now I'm going to do 6 and 7 and 8 and 9. Okay, so that should be plenty for my long tail. So this is called the long tail right here, and this is called the working yarn. So right at the 9 yard mark, I'm going to make a slip knot. So to do that, I make a ring like that, and then I bring the top strand across the back, and then I pull that forward through the circle. And then there's a knot side there, and then there's a slip side, and I just tighten the knot side. And I want this slip knot to be big enough to go on my arm like that. And then I'm going to tighten it a little bit, and that slip knot is going to count as my first stitch. So I want to cast on 27 stitches. So I'm going to have my long tail over here and my working yarn over here, and then I'm going to take my hand and I'm just going to go between them like this and pull it up, and it creates this 2 loops across my hand. And then I'm going to go right in here and pick this up and just grab this loop over here like that, and then put that on my hand and let this this strand that was right here drop. So then I put that on my hand and I tighten it, and then that is stitch number 2. Then I'm going to go in here again, and I'm going to go right here, and then I'm going to pick this other strand up over here. I'm dropping this one, and then I'm tightening. So all these loops here are created from the long tail. They're not created, this isn't the yarn from here. It's a little bit under here, but most of this is coming from here. So that's 3, and now I'm gonna do 4, like that. So I can show you, there's another video where I show a close-up of this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my 27 stitches on my arm. And actually I need to make these a little bit looser because they're gonna have to be up here on my arm. I didn't even think about that. So that might be a problem here. Yeah, I gotta try to loosen these. I don't know how I'm gonna get 27 on there. Maybe. I gotta do this one fast. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, just make sure you make those first loops bigger so that they're gonna fit up here. I think I'm gonna be able to make this. So this one is 9. And this is 10. $11, $12, $13, $14, $15, $16, $17, $18, what number was that on? 18? Mm-hmm. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This is pretty funny. 26. I was worried I wouldn't have enough at the end. And 27. Okay, so this was awesome. It was the right length for my long tail. And I could actually do a few more stitches with that. But I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough yarn. And the way I plan this out, the 12 skein should make a good size Afghan. So from this point forward, I won't be using my long tail. So now I'm going to work these loops off of this arm onto this arm. So I'm going to drop that, and I'm going to pick up the working yarn like that. And all you got to do is make sure that you have the 4 strands every time. And you just hold on to your working yarn and just take the loop off your arm. It actually drops onto the working yarn like this, and all you do is move it over to the other one. And then you always tighten. And this first one, you need to tighten the long tail also. Okay, so then back in this hand and take the next 4 loops off and move it over to the other hand. And that's all it is for the entire process, except for binding off. So this was the cast on, and then when I get finished, I'll be showing you the bind off. Moving the loops over like this. And you always put the working yarn over to the set of loops that you want to work off. And this is row 1 that I'm working on right now. So you could watch a 1-hour TV show and get an Afghan done. I think it's going to be about an hour. That's really funny. Maybe we'll have to fast forward some of this.
For sure.
When I was young, I loved knitting. I loved every craft. I did, you know, just, I don't know, construction paper. I did everything. Every different kind of needlecraft, embroidery, everything. Macrame. It was fun. Okay, so there's row 1, what that looks like. And it's nice and full, which is what I wanted. I think until I bind off, I won't really know what the width is going to be. So I'm just guessing by a scarf that I made. I think kids would love to learn this. Young kids. Okay, this is row 2, and I'm working the loops off of this arm now. So the strand goes in this hand, and so I'm holding the strand here, and I'm moving them back onto the first hand that I was using, the first arm. So you just keep going back and forth the whole time. Hopefully my legs won't fall asleep here. Okay. So again, you want to make sure that the loops are wide enough to slide up your arm. I think it might be good to get a photograph when I go back to the other side, because it's starting to look kind of cool, you know. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, at some of these points, I'm not going to be doing all this, you know what I mean? Right. This much of it. So we need to get the photographs. I just need to get looser on the other, when I put them on the other side. For some reason, I'm really loose going over here, but I'm tighter going over here. Just gotta loosen up. I used to crochet really tight like Trisha. Okay, so now I've got it back over here. It's looking really neat. So you hold it in here, and you just work off here and back over here. Make them loose. So if you had to get up and go somewhere, you'd have to wait until you had the loops all in one hand, and then you'd have to take all your yarn balls with you. So maybe it's not a good idea to connect all your yarn balls, just in case you had to pick all those up and go answer the door or something. That'd be pretty funny. Okay, so let's see, I don't know what row that is, 4? I think it's 4. So when I go back over to this other side, I'm going to try to do it a lot looser so that we can, I can hold it out so it drapes out, so we can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go like that instead of having it be so tight on my arm. Gonna make sure they're kind of loose. When you're doing like a scarf and you only have like 9 or 10 loops on your arm, you can make them tighter, but I have to have enough room for this to move up and down my arm when it gets to the wider part, like right there. So they feel kind of sloppy on there, but I think it's just better for when you're working an Afghan to just have them be loose there. Then we'll get a better idea of how wide this is going to be. This is a great way to use up different colors. You could, you know, run a bunch of different color strands together. Okay, I think I'll be able to show you something now because I can see the inside of this. It looks really pretty. Okay, now because I did it so loose, now you can see more of what it's going to look like when I take it off my arms for the final time. But here you can see it starting to take shape here. So it's beautiful. Isn't that neat?